Hello, the Pioneer viewers. We continue to report on the Russia-Ukraine war. We are trying to follow the process together by sharing all the developments and important analyses about the war. The war has recently started to draw an outlook where bold moves have been made with intense clashes. The troops of both sides are trying to increase their gains by making an intense effort. The fatigue of the soldiers, which is one of the critical indicators in times of the war, sometimes makes things difficult. Soldier fatigue is caused by the lack of delicate and detailed planning by the command. Senior commanders need to make detailed field plans and mobilize the troops in a way that they can remain the strongest. The states and their soldiers that are weak in the terms of supply logistics are doomed to failure. Soldiers, especially those who will take part in the critical missions, need a strong motivation and energy. Military pilots are among the most important of these. Commanding military fighter jets is a very difficult and risky job. Following Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the world's attention has focused on the region. Many European countries and the United States have been supporting Ukraine since the first days of the invasion. Ukraine, on the other hand, is actively using this support to continue the war. The main targets of the Ukrainian army are strategic areas and weapons belonging to the Russian army. Throughout the war, the Ukrainian army has taught the whole world about the new generation war strategies. Using unmanned aerial vehicles effectively, the Ukrainian army brings new perspective to war discipline. The Ukrainian army, which has caused millions of dollars of damage to the Russian army with low-cost offensive operations, is literally waging a psychological war. The Ukrainian army, which recently destroyed 3 Russian planes in one day, reported new developments. According to the news coming from the front, the Russian army was shaken by a new operation as if it was about to recover from the shock of the destruction of 3 aircraft. In the operation organized by the Ukrainian army, 3 more Russian warplanes were destroyed. Now, if you are ready, let's examine the latest developments together. As the Pioneer, we continue to report on Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so as not to miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also read all your comments on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content in the comments with us. Tell us in the comments what content you would like to see on the Pioneer channel. Let's start if you are ready. The Pioneer reports. In recent days, the Ukrainian army announced that it had made significant gains. In addition, the destruction of 3 Russian planes on the same day was a great motivation for the Ukrainian army. After these announcements, some more shocking events took place. The Ukrainian army destroyed 3 more Russian planes as a result of its attacks. A statement was made by the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. According to this statement, the Ukrainian army destroyed 2 Su-34 fighter bombers and 1 Su-35 fighter. The news, published with the headline "Russian planes continue to fall," reached thousands of people in a short time. Social media users shared their views on this issue with many comments. The comments mocking the situation of the Russian military are almost a challenge to Russia's war management. The high war losses, which continue to draw the reaction of the Russian people, caused the opposition against Putin to grow stronger day by day. Lieutenant General Mikhailo Oleshchuk, commander of the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, stated that the attack will continue. Anton Grashchenko, advisor to the Ukrainian Interior Minister, continues to set agenda with his statements and posts on social media. Grashchenko, who reached many people with the title he posted in his last video, is leading the process. He shared images of the Russian helicopters flying over the sea and stated that they were looking for the crews of planes destroyed by the Ukrainian army. In an update following the latest attacks, the Ukrainian military said Moscow has so far lost 336 aircraft since the launch of full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Russia, which is very disadvantageous situation in terms of the aircraft losses, seems very difficult to replace the lost aircraft. It is known that Russia will face serious difficulties as the war process continues. Although the international agenda continues to discuss solutions to the war, the Kremlin's stubborn and aggressive approaches prevents any progress. Military experts say that it is very difficult for the Russian army to gain air superiority due to such high losses. For now, the Ukrainian army does not have a large number of fighter jets, and for this reason, it is using the artillery and drones to counter the Russian military's airstrikes. However, it is known that the Ukrainian army's air force will be greatly strengthened after the actual deliveries are realized. As the data on the war is shared, a huge balance sheet is emerging. One of the biggest factors in the failure of the Russian army's plan to invade Ukraine is the high number of casualties. The fact that an army is trying to advance despite so many losses cannot be considered independent of politics. Dmitry Likhailvi, a spokesman for the Ukraine's Tavria First Group, which includes Avdiivka, said that about 17,000 Russian soldiers were killed between October 10, 2023 and February 17, 2024, when Russia launched its offensives on the city of Donetsk. The fatigue represents more casualties than the Moscow's 10-year war in Afghanistan under the Soviet Union. It is also said 30,000 casualties were wounded. The Soviet Union sent thousands of troops to Afghanistan in the late December 1979, and the resulting conflicts lasted nearly 10 years. The Soviet casualties in these 10 years were put to around 15,000 soldiers. In fact, these numbers are an important piece of evidence to understand the scale of the violence in Avdiivka. Ukraine had meticulously built up its defense around Avdiivka, and Russia quickly attacked the area on October 10. This was followed by bloody clashes in the region. While the fighting in the region continues, there are also developments on the other fronts. However, the Avdiivka region is of great strategic importance. For this reason, the parties don't want to give the passage to the other side by strengthening their dominance in the region. We protect our people, our fighters, because that is the purpose of defense, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said at Munich Security Conference in Germany. Zelensky recently said that the Russian casualties in Avdiivka were even sometimes the total number of the Ukrainian casualties in defense of the city. This statement shows that the Ukrainian army's struggle in the region is giving the Russian army a very hard time. So, how do you assess the Ukrainian army's destruction of the Russian warplanes, and whose side do you think has the advantage as the war in Ukraine continues? How do you assess the military motivation of the Russian army? In which direction do you think that the course of the fighting on the Avdiivka will go? Because we value your opinion. Please share it with us.